Welcome to Underqualified and Over It. I'm your host, Alice, and joining me as always is Cindy.
Hi.
In this podcast, we are over-opinionated and unfortunately allowed to talk. So sit back, lower your expectations, and let's get into it.
Hey, fifth time's the charm. One day we'll get it right. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. So, today, as promised, we're going to be talking about the UK education system, especially how it works at uni and how all of the funding works at uni, because Cindy's got a lot of questions to ask. But before we get into that, I just want to say that we had a little bit of an issue with last week's editing on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So there's about 4 minutes-ish that you're missing out on.
Yeah, something like that.
So if you guys that are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts want to go and check that 4 minutes that you missed out, it is available on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Which I then had to go back in and cut down the end of the YouTube because it was like another minute of silence after I re-edited and re-rendered and put it up and everything. There was a good minute of silence at the end that I apparently missed. So I had to go in and use YouTube Studio to trim it back. But
it's fine.
It's all part of the learning process. That's what you get for recording and trying to do a 24-hour turnaround.
That is a good point. Yeah, because we were trying to get that one out pretty dang quickly.
Yeah, we had the idea, and within 10 hours we had recorded and edited and was working on everything to get it uploaded.
Yeah.
So, not too bad.
Yeah, this time we're not in that much of a rush. We have a few days until our week's deadline.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we're recording this after only a couple days after we recorded the first one. But luckily this episode doesn't come out for another week. So sorry for destroying the fourth wall a little bit there, but it's fine.
Yeah, we're going to get into the whole situationship that is universities and how the UK deals with it. Especially down here in England. It's England, Wales, and Ireland, most of this information is right, I believe. I did check on the government website, so I have got my facts. We're going to start off with the different types of loans that you can get for university.
Well, before we really jump into it, I was going to call my mom.
Oh, yes.
Because she did go see Iron Lung. I guess she and my brother went to go see it. So she has not texted me back, but she did text me back her personality type, which is the commander personality type.
Okay.
And she said, "Oh no."
Oh no.
Because the last time that she and I talked, when I told her to go see the movie, her first question was, "Who's in it?" And I had to be like, "His name is Mark Fishbach. You probably haven't heard of him, but I have."
I have.
She was just she was like, "Oh, okay, it sounds good." So I explained a bit of the premise. So I'm hoping she enjoyed it. But yeah, she did not text me back to tell me if she went to go see it, how she enjoyed it, or anything like that. So I'll try and give her a call here, and probably because we're doing a little bit of a bulk recording today, I'll probably try and call her in the next episode.
Yeah.
To see what her thoughts are.
Also, I wanna she's probably never gonna see this, but we need to thank Amy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy, because apparently I've heard on the grapevine it was Amy's idea for him to wear the harness.
Oh, really?
Apparently,
she was like,
so.
Hell yeah, brother.
She was like, okay, and yeah, it was like, if you're gonna take your clothes off,
wild.
I know
about that.
I know
that was one of the things that I think I leaned over to my husband and was like, "Amy is a very lucky woman."
Yes,
and he didn't disagree. He didn't disagree with me. So there's that. God, that's where did I hope that's real.
So do I.
I mean, she is one of his best, like, kind of creative directors that he's ever had. So, all right. So, getting into the subject, you know how I was supposed to write questions down?
Mm-hmm. You didn't.
I didn't do that.
That's
No,
fine.
I didn't
Just
do that.
whatever comes to your brain will be fine, I suppose. But yeah, so anyway, let's get into this thing. So down here, because you're up in Scotland, where university education, especially for people who live in Scotland and have been born in Scotland, they get their education for free. Lucky guys.
That's why it's so confusing for
Yeah.
me.
And it's even more confusing because you're from America as well, so
Yeah.
university over there is college.
You go, well, and that's one of the things I was gonna ask about was, like you said, most of the degree programs are 3 years, but you have college and university. Whereas for us, the difference between college and university is just how much more student loans you have to take out to pay for it. Because so college is like, I don't know, guess less notorious. That's not the word.
Influential?
What's the word? No, it's like prestigious.
Oh, prestigious, right, okay. So
yeah. the difference between college and the US is how much debt you go into, because college is less prestigious in a lot of places than in university.
So like universities would be like Yale and...
Well, not always. So like not always. You can have, so like I went to Oklahoma State University.
Right.
Because I'm from Oklahoma and that's just the university that I went to before I dropped out. That's still a university. It's not what we call an Ivy League. I think you guys call them red bricks here.
I honestly don't know. So that would be our Oxford, Cambridge, and
yes,
they're the only two I can think of at the minute. If anybody knows any more, the comments are available. Please feel free to educate us.
But I believe you guys refer to them as either redstones or red bricks, whereas we refer to them as Ivy League. So Ivy Leagues are generally universities, but it's like how all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs,
right?
Kind of thing. So all Ivy Leagues are university, but
not all universities are Ivy
League.
Right.
Yeah.
So the way that we have it is we have a smaller higher education, which is usually about 2 years. It can be 3. It can be 2 or 3 years between high school and university. That is college.
Okay.
Because our high school, well, it's changed now since I was in high school. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago, because now kids are in high school until the age of 18, whereas before, kids finished high school at the age of 16 and then went to college from the ages of 16 to 18, usually. Because you can do, in college, you can do a level 1, 2, and 3 course. So a level 1 course is a year, a level 2 course is a year, and a level 3 course is 2 years.
Okay.
So depending on what you would get at GCSE level, depends on what level you go into in college. So if you got really crappy scores... GCSEs. So GCSEs is what you take at the end of high school. So it'd be similar
like
to SATs, yes, I believe.
SAT, ACT, okay.
Yeah. So we call them GCSEs, and I can't remember what GCSE stands for. Let me just Google that quickly. It's called the General Certificate of Secondary Education. And yes, I did have to say it like that. So yeah, it's what you get at the end of high school. You can also get
Right.
other things that are like called BTECs and stuff like that. I have a few BTECs under my arm, but that was practical work more than coursework. So it was
Right.
it was practical and coursework rather than tests. So GCSEs were tests and BTECs were coursework and practical work.
Okay. So what you're describing college as sounds to me like what we would consider either a tech school or junior college, which junior college in the US is basically you see it a lot of times portrayed in like sports movies
Yeah.
and things like that, where you have this really gifted athlete, but their grades are shit. They can go to junior college to get their grades up to get accepted into the university that they want to play for.
Yeah,
Is generally.
so that's kind of what college is for. It's so that number one, you can get your grades up, but universities don't just accept GCSEs; they need A levels or BTECs. Like I said, the A levels are the test format, and the BTECs are the coursework and the
Practical.
The practical. That's the one. Thank you. Why did I lose the track of practical for some stupid reason then? I have no idea.
ADHD.
ADHD. So yes, you go to college, but college is the place where you go to narrow the field that you want to go to university for. Or it narrows the field for what job you want to go into. So, for example, stuff that you don't need to go to university that will be available for you at college is stuff like beauty therapy. So, like hairdressing and doing nails and all of that sort of stuff.
Beautician school.
Yeah, beautician school. So that will be in a college somewhere. There's also specialized beautician schools out there as well that you could go to. There's drama schools, blah blah blah. That's all at college level.
Yeah, that sounds like tech school. So that's where we would send people to like work on cars, people who wanted to do mechanics or like plumbing, beautician, anything you can get with a certificate. Basically, that's what we would call tech school.
Yeah, that's our college. So you choose what subject you want to like go into and you want a job in, essentially, which I think is really, really hard for a 16-year-old to decide.
Yeah.
Because
you become, in this country, you become an adult at 16, correct?
No, you become an adult at 18.
Then, it must be like, okay. That I must have got confused with the whole way that the school is structured.
Yeah. So, yeah, you become an adult at 18. So, you have to choose what subject that you want. And when I first went to college, I went and did animal care. And I loved animal care. I did a year of animal care because I got in at level 2 because my English and maths weren't great, because of the dyslexia, because of the undiagnosed ADHD and autism, because you magically get dyslexia most of the time. If you have one of those two, or both of those two, it's the superpower that you didn't want. Then I went and did a year of art and design, and then I went and did 2 years of music practitioner. All of those completely different subjects.
Yeah.
Because of the ADHD. And then I finally, after completing the music practitioner, I went to university to do drama. When you come about to like apply for universities and all of that, once you, I believe it's once you have got at least offers for the universities. So you've done your interviews, or for my case, I had to go and do auditions at universities, and then you get your offers. So luckily, my university that I really wanted to go to was my first choice. you get a first, second, and third choice of universities, and sometimes they go, yeah, we want you, and other times they go, nah. And then if you get your first choice, fantastic. I got my first choice, yay. And if you don't get either your first, your second, or your third, you then have to go into another bracket of stuff, which I think is like the clearance bracket, and I can't remember what it's actually called.
The clearance bracket?
Clearance bracket is what I'm calling it.
You guys call it the clearance bracket?
No, it's what I'm calling it. Right, let me have a look.
Those undeserved of another title. The clearance bracket. The working class. Oh my goodness.
It's called the clearing process.
Okay, so if you don't get your first,
close.
second, or third, you go through.
Yeah. So you go through a process that is basically looking at what it'll do is the subject that you want to do. I think UCAS, which is the program that you go onto on the internet, the website to apply for these unis, it will tell you which universities have spots open in those courses, and then you kind of have to choose one of those to go to.
Okay. I guess that kind of leads into one of the questions that I had, because this is like very much all rumor mill information that I have. Someone, when I was living in the US, told me that in the UK, you are not allowed to choose what degree. You get to choose from like a list or something. They're not allowed to choose their own degree programs. That basically the government gives them a list of what degrees that hear me out. The government gives them a list of degrees that they are allowed to choose from, and they have to choose from that list.
No. So what happens is there is a list of degrees, but what happens is that list of degrees is a massive list, and I mean a massive list. So it's got everything from like being a doctor to, I don't know, like physical therapy or whatever. Like,
so another type of doctor.
Like sports massage. Like, I know people that went to university to do sports massage, of all things. But, I mean, people pay the big bucks for going and getting sports massages, you know what I mean?
There was a girl that I went to university with, that's what she was studying, and she was very excited for it, but she hated the biology classes.
And there's I lived with 3 police students.
Okay.
Because there was university.
You have to go to university for police?
You don't have to, but you can do, I think. I don't know how it works. Okay. I never looked into it.
Okay.
But, yeah, there's all sorts of courses. The reason for the list is so that you can click that course on the UCAS website, and then it will direct you to what university has that course available. And if you can't find the course that you want, it's probably because we don't have a university that does it, and you're going to have to go to another country. There's been a few people that have had to go to America to do things. I know people who couldn't find a decent course in the UK that would take them to do drama, that then went over to the...
Because we got Hollywood, baby.
They went over to New York, to the drama school in New York. I wanted to do that, but I was like, I can't go away from my mother.
Aww.
I was like, I can't be that far from my mother. I'll just go to Cumbria instead.
Well, and to be fair, like, you basically have to, kind of talking about what we spoke on last week with, like, getting places here, kind of have to choose somewhere really close, like, by American standards, really close by, because it's in the US, it's not completely unheard of to go to a university and commute in 45 minutes to an hour every day to classes. Whereas here, that would be insanely difficult.
You see, that's the different thing. So Well, it's not at the same time because obviously universities in America have student campus accommodations. The same
Yeah.
is this. It's the same here. I lived on campus. I lived right next door to my university in really horrible halls of residence. But a difference between American halls of residence and UK halls of residence is we get our own room. We don't have to share it with anybody. Yeah.
That is so nice. I remember when my sister went to her, so she went through a few different universities in her education journey. The first room that she had basically 3 roommates because she had shared a room with another girl, and then they shared a bathroom with the other room, which had 2 girls in it. So they, between the 4 of them, only 1 toilet, only 1 shower, and yeah. So, but then she moved on to a different place. Most places, I would say, have like for freshmen, they have a like dormitory bathroom, like what you would get in a gym,
Yeah.
or something.
So what we had was, it was 2 flats on either side, basically. It was just 2. It was more actually like an office building, and each of the office rooms was a bedroom. And then at the end was the kitchen. And then in between there was the stairs, and then 3 bathrooms. So 2 of them had showers, and 1 of them was just a single toilet. So that if 2 people were having a shower, somebody could go to the toilet and just be going to the toilet. And each of the flats on each side, so there was a flat on each side for 3 flats up, and there was 3 blocks of those situation. And each of the flats had their own kitchen and like keys to get into your like row of rooms. And then you had, I think we had 5 people. No, hang on. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We had 8 per flat.
Right. Okay.
And it was bloody terrible. And then you had somebody come round and be like judging you for the way that your room was. Even if you had one.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you had like a cup of tea that you'd left that morning because you forgot there was somebody coming round to like check your room. And
Doing
like,
room inspections.
Yeah.
We had that in the military as well.
It was terrible. I was so glad when I moved out into a house. But then I wasn't, because the landlord was an asshole.
Yeah, well, that's just landlord support.
Yeah, just wouldn't come and like fix the boiler. We were in the middle of winter and we had like a boiler situation. But anyway, that's another story for like another time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was going to explain to
but
you
it's
how like the loans worked.
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
you get a tuition fee loan, and you don't see that loan. That just goes straight to the university. And that is £9,250 per year. And you can only have, I believe you can only have 3 years worth of it. Or at least it was back in my day. I don't know whether they've changed it or not now. And then you can get a maintenance loan, and that's paid to the student, and that covers your rent, your food, your transport, your bills, essentially anything that you need to exist as a human being while studying. And this money depends on your household income. So it basically, if you live alone already, it'll based on your income yourself. But if you live with your mum and dad, it's based on what they earn, as if they're going to be paying your way. Especially if you're, and especially if it's one of those where, like me, I had to move like halfway across the country to my university to go and live. I wasn't getting any extra money from my mum and dad. They couldn't afford that. Do you know what I mean? They were busy paying for their own lives.
It works kind of similar in the US. So they base it off of how much financial help you can receive is based off of how well-to-do your family is. And unless you are really well below the poverty line, you basically can't get financial aid.
Yeah.
So based off of how much your parents, whether, and this is the thing that gets me, it's like whether you're estranged from those parents or not has no weight on it, because the expectation is that your parents are there to help you. So therefore they're in your life. You must have a good relationship. Therefore, they'll be helping you pay for this. So therefore, we won't give you financial aid. Whereas, like, if you're estranged from your parents, or your parents just maybe they don't actually have enough to help you because the inflation and everything, you won't be able to receive help. So that's actually, if somebody says that they can't get student loans, it's because they were determined to be above the poverty line based off of what their parents make, which has no weight whatsoever on how much help they received. But if you are below a certain line, then you're able to receive financial help from the government, like government assistance.
Yeah, that sucks. So with us, if you're estranged from your parents, it's basically the household income. So if you live on your own as like an 18-year-old because you don't live with your mum and dad anymore, it's what is in your house. So it's based on, like, you could have a partner. If you've got a partner, it bases on their income as well. It's whoever is supporting you is what it's based on.
A lot of the times what happens in the US, I think because it works based off of the household as well, but say you live a different lifestyle, or your parents don't approve of some of the decisions you make and whatever, and your parents basically say, right, you're 18, we're kicking you out, we're cutting you off. They will still take your parents' income and apply it to you
That's
as a
stupid.
person, because technically you, even if on your 18th birthday they kick you out, you're still technically, your last residence was with them. So it's still technically the household that you're from. And so because if you think about it, you get kicked out, and if you're living in your car or on the streets or whatever, then the last residence you had would have been with the people that kicked you out. Therefore, all of your financial ties and all of that is all tied back to that household. So it's crazy.
So yeah, this is where it gets really complicated with the whole, like, loan situation. So depending on, so this is like repaying the loans. So it all depends on when you started studying, where in the UK you're from, and what type of course you studied as well, apparently.
Okay.
I don't know which ones cause it to be less. It's probably the ones that we need more of, probably. They go, oh yeah, we'll let
like
you pay off a little
doctor.
bit less because we need doctors, we need this, we need that.
Right.
If you're doing a course like I did, like drama, no, we don't need it. We don't need any more
a little
actors.
bit of a superfluous kind of thing. Yeah.
So what happens is there's currently, I believe there is 5 plans. I don't know where number 3 went. Anyway, so plan 1 is for older students, so pre-2012 in Northern Ireland, from and they get a lower threshold. And I don't know what that means. That's all the information that I was given by the government website. Plan 2, which is the plan that I'm on. Most students started in England between 2012 and 2023. So the vast majority of students that started between those times are going to be on a plan 2. The threshold was 28,470. So I think that was like, as you're earning money after uni, that's your threshold to how much you give back.
Yeah, so it sounds to me like, because the way that it works up here, from what I've looked into, in Scotland, basically like the education is free until you start earning a certain amount.
Yeah.
And then you have to start paying it back.
Yeah.
So if you go get your degree and then fast forward 5 years after graduation, you're working at Tesco, barely making enough to keep your head above water, you don't have to pay back the loans.
Yeah.
But if someone comes in while you're singing to yourself, restocking the shelves, and they like, you really got a talent, kid, and they sign you on and pay you a 6-figure sum, that's when you kind of have to start paying the loans back.
Yeah. And then Plan 5 is any student starting after 2023. So that'll be everybody right now. Everybody else is on a Plan 5. And then your Plan 4 is Scotland.
Plan 4, Scotland.
Plan 3 just went out of the window. I don't know where Plan 3 went. I think they did have a Plan 3 between the 2023 and 2012, but then they got rid of it recently because they've just redone all of the plans very, very recently.
Right, okay.
You only repay if you earn over a certain threshold. So you will repay 9% of an income above the threshold as an undergraduate and 6% for postgraduate loans. So once you've done your first 3 years as an undergraduate, you can go do doctorate or something else.
Masters.
Yeah, masters and doctorates. That's the one. And they're postgraduate loans. So on top of, if you've decided to do a degree, your undergraduate degree, and then you've decided to go do your masters, right? Okay, so that's 9%, add 6%. And then you've decided to go do your doctorate. That's another 6% on top of that. So that's what? 9, 10, 11, 15, 21%. So 21% of your wages after a doctorate will be taken off of you. And they take it out of your pay slip. You don't see that money.
Yeah, they garnish it from your... Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, if you've done a doctorate, most of the time, you're going to be in a job that you're not even going to... Most doctors are going to... People who have doctorates usually end up... To be quite honest, the vast majority of the people who were had doctorates in my field, which was drama, ended up teaching drama at universities.
Yeah.
So they were having fairly decent price points that really that 20-odd% wasn't even bothering them. And then you also have write-offs as well. So after, on a Plan 1, it's after 25 years if you haven't paid back the loans or age 65.
Mm-hmm.
It gets written off. Plan 2 for me is 30 years, so I've only got another 10 years for mine.
Okay.
Until mine's written off. I have already paid back a little bit of it because of what I've earned in the past, and I'll probably pay a little bit more off once I've got the game design business. But it won't be enough to actually pay it all off because of the amount of interest that it is probably earned by now because of how long it's been since I've paid any off.
Right.
Because that's another thing is that these student loans gain interest. Because all loans gain interest. And this is what people don't realize. They're like, I'll have finished paying my loans off by the time I'm like 35. No, you won't.
Yeah. So it's the same in the US where they accrue a lot of interest. And the issue with that is if you go through a time where you're financially struggling and you have to like file for bankruptcy, student loans are not something that you can file bankruptcy on because the quote education sticks with you. So
the only other times that you can get your loans cancelled is if you have shuffled off your mortal coil because obviously
died.
that's not gonna pass over to like your family members or your partner or anything like that, because it's nothing to do with them. It's your debt. And then also, if you have a permanent disability as well, it might be cancelled. It might not be, because you might be able to work, but if you cannot work and you've got a really serious disability, then they'll write it off as well. But also, it's not debt in the way that like you'd probably see it as American debt.
Okay.
It's more of it's probably because it gets written off after a certain amount of like, they're not going to come knocking on your door if you're not paying it back, kind of thing.
Oh, really?
They're not going to be like, yo, I'm taking, like, a lot of like loans and stuff. If you've not started paying them back, they'll turn up with the bailiffs and be like, right, take that computer, take that TV, take that Xbox, take this, that, and the other, to whatever sums up to the price of the loan. Student loans don't do that.
Interesting. So if you're not paying back your student loans, it has no impact on like your credit score or anything like that in the UK.
No, it doesn't affect your credit score either.
The credit score in the UK is not affected by many things, it seems.
To be quite honest, the credit score is really bloody weird. I don't know how they do it. The only thing that really affects your credit score is if you are a person that doesn't have a credit card. So if you've got a credit card and you're paying your credit card back, that boosts your credit score. If you're not on the electoral roll, so get yourself on the electoral roll.
And I'm glad that we recorded this so I can go back and listen to it, because I feel like, again, I've just kind of retained nothing. It's also like 9:40 and I'm very tired. Hence why I'm drinking coffee. Oh, good.
Is there any other like questions that you had about this subject?
I can't think of any. I mean, I'm sure that there are going to be people who have plenty of questions, and as previously stated, if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We'll go through and answer any questions that we can to the best of our ability. Thankfully, we have a UK expert with us. So
I mean,
right?
I better be. I've lived here for how many long?
I have thought so many times about going back to university and like getting a degree, but then I feel like just for so many things that I'm interested in doing, it doesn't make sense
to do that
for me to do. Yeah, because it's basically a lot of hoopla for nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, whereas like if I was doing engineering or something more technical, going to university would make sense. But with all of the creative stuff that we do, it's pretty much you just figure it out and you just go for it, and then hopefully it'll be okay. And if it's not okay, you just change what you're doing. So yeah, it's really interesting. But I'm not opposed to getting my degree. I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more of like, it's not that I don't want a degree. It's not that I want a degree. It's just kind of ain't nobody got time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, I think that actually we're kind of running low on time as well. So
this has been Underqualified and Over It.
If you made it this far, that's on you.
We will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.